Right. Okay, we're live, guys. Hey,
What's
everyone.
happening?
Happy
Hey,
Wednesday.
We got some red. We got some thugness.
I
Christian got the braid.
know, Christian, who did your hair?
We can't hear
You're
you.
on mute.
I'm sorry. So yeah, one of my best friends out here, Keys, did it. So
Oh,
okay.
I need to get her to do my hair.
trying to do something new.
Look like you going out.
Right? Line up fresh.
No, I'm going staying in.
Look, California is back open and they don't know how to act no more, huh?
Right. I have been considering some stuff, but I ain't going nowhere.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to this edition of Yup Live. And today we are going where the money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside.
You gotta do the clap. You gotta do the clap and come back to
Where
it.
the money reside.
There you go.
Where the money reside. Yes, so we have an amazing
Nobody wore
show.
green.
Nobody wore green.
Well, my last name is Green, so that counts.
There you go.
It does.
Yeah.
That's because the
Always
money
good
digital. You know what I'm saying? The money digital now. We don't need the green, you know?
We're going to get into that. We really going to get into that. But yes, thank you for tuning in on this lovely Wednesday. We have so much news and a lot of different things are happening in the world, especially when it comes to the money. So we have two amazing guests that we're going to bring on, and we're really excited for you to meet them and ask questions. Be sure to comment in our chat. Let us know what questions you have or any comments or any tips or tools that you might have regarding where the money is at. So we're just going to get into some news topics really quickly. Do y'all like Joe Biden still?
Girl, I haven't watched the news since Trump left, honestly. I've been watching Designated Survivor because it's more interesting.
I know. See, that's exactly what I said last week. Things are going to be a little dull without number 45.
You know, thank you for all that he's done. I checked the news. I'm like, good. He's done good work. Great. But that means we can trust him, right? We trust our government, I guess.
Right. Absolutely. So Biden's first 100 days, he already made some pledges to do some things, including, I know you guys remember that $20 bill featuring Harriet Tubman. They've been talking about it. Obama was talking about it. And then when it came to number 45, it died. So along with that, Biden is also promising a lot of different initiatives, including he pledges to address pay and systemic racism, quoting, Black and Latino unemployment gap remains too large. Biden's moved super early on all of his promises. The president signed 4 executive orders meant to thwart discrimination against racial minorities, including a directive to ban any new Department of Justice contracts with private prisons, a requirement that the Department of Housing and Urban Development to buttress the implementation of the Fair Housing Act. I know you guys remember we talked about the Fair Housing Act that Obama put into fruition within his presidency. Other orders direct all federal agencies to engage vigorously with Native American communities and tribal governments. The president earlier dissolved the 1776 Commission, a panel president, number 45, we don't speak his name, established, in which was critical of the civil rights movement. So I'm here for Biden. I'm here for the initiatives and him getting a jump on it early. And it really
I think she might have left out a little early.
Oh, no.
Sorry, that was.
I know.
I'm sure y'all was paying attention.
That was
You paid attention.
Shout out to Catherine. She's our producer. She usually handles the switches, so I'm working double time today. So bear with me, you guys. But what do you guys think about these initiatives and Biden kind of getting the jump on all of his promises that he made super early?
I'm here for it. I'm in love with it. I think that this is giving us a good glimpse at what his overall goal is in regards to promoting equity, right? And so I think it was just Tuesday, yesterday. I know he was advancing racial equity and all these different agendas. I think Biden is staying true to his word. I think that what he is really, I think maybe just really energetic about is getting stuff done. So I cannot complain about it. And I say go Biden. And yeah.
Definitely. All right, Lawrence, I'm going to throw it over to you for our next news topic.
Okay, well, I came to straight talk about the money today. I think everybody has heard and seen at least something about this GameStop phenomenon. There has been a lot of short selling in the market and stocks have been going crazy. To give a simple recap of what's going on, a couple of days ago, a former investment banker who's not necessarily in charge of a group of individuals, but is a leader of a Reddit subgroup in which they talk about stock options, stock ticks, and how to invest. Now, this individual was formerly part of a really big hedge fund, which is an organization that manages money for big corporations and companies. And this individual kind of got into it with another hedge fund who's currently managing these companies. And he said, you know, all of us, we should start investing and short the market in a way. Maybe you guys have heard these terms. They get kind of complicated between if we're going to short it, if we're going to call or put. That's not really important. What's important to know is that a group of individuals came together, just regular Joe Schmoes, and spent their stimmies, about $600, $700, bought stocks in a company that was failing. A lot of people know GameStop. It's a big time game retailer. Hasn't been doing well lately because of brick and mortar stores. People are buying off of Amazon. So the stock was about $30. It shot up to over $350 within 24 hours. There are results of, there's stories of people that have invested $20,000 to $50,000 and now they're multimillionaires. This is remarkable in the industry because coming from a financial background, a lot of times you think you got to have, you know, a PhD or a master's degree or work for a big bank to get engaged in the market. But nowadays, all you need is your phone and a Cash App. You can buy stocks right from Cash App. You can download the Robinhood app that many people have learned about. You can buy it right there. And people, the average person is actually getting an opportunity to gain money in a way that only the rich, super white elites were able to. So this to me is like some V for Vendetta stuff. The regulation type powers, they've come together. They like halted selling of stocks to GameStop. They did it yesterday because it was going so fast. They were like, literally, you can't buy any more stock. Now they restarted it back up again. But this isn't even the only time we've seen this recently. So we saw it here with GameStop. A couple weeks ago it was Blockbuster. And today, AMC movie theaters, they were down, about to go bankrupt. They went up over 200% in a day as well. So I don't know where it's going. I'm just excited. I haven't put any money into it because I'm a little too scared. But if you got, man, if you got $100, you might throw it in. Follow the subreddit on Reddit and see what's popping. Oh, I'm sorry. That is not financial advice. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not telling you I lose my money. I'm just giving you. I'm saying that's hypothetical. That's all.
Definitely. Gigi, what do you think about this?
So I was actually really excited. One of my friends posted GameStop, and I'm like, wait, I have GameStop stock. So I was excited. That's a hit bit. I know. So it was something that I bought years ago, never touched, never traded, anything like that. And so when he was like GameStop, and I even showed my mom who doesn't really know anything about stock, I showed her, and she's like, oh, well, maybe I should invest too. But it has been a trending conversation with all of my friends, whether I should sell or whether I should keep it, because it's not going to last forever. And so you really have to be able to watch the trends, the way the market is going, and the reasoning why it has gone up. This is almost, I think this is the first time in history that they're saying something like this has actually happened. And so it's kind of like, you don't have to buy the stock for, I think the last time I saw it, it was like $3.15. However, you can put a little piece in it and kind of play with it to kind of see. I bought it when it was like $25. And as Lawrence was saying earlier, it has now skyrocketed. So I'm going to hold at least for a couple more days to watch. But for any of you guys, and that's why I love generational wealth, you don't have to invest a lot of money. Only thing you have to do is just get started. So I'm excited.
Why you didn't tell me about this back in the day?
Right. And so, not to be all up in your business, but how many stocks do you have? Why don't you like sell 3 stocks, keep 1, see how it like play with it a little bit? I have. I've sold a little piece of it. So we're going to see.
We're going to have to have an offline conversation, or maybe we'll have a more in-depth show where we talk about stocks, because I'm still learning myself. Did any of you guys learn about stocks in school, like, in the earlier years?
I learned in college.
Yeah, I learned in college. I took some finance classes, but it shouldn't be that way, because that just makes it elitism and really keeps our people and just so many people out of the know, and something that should be accessible to everybody. Technically,
but it's designed like that, right?
It's designed like that, but the market works better when more people are engaged. If everybody could have a piece of the pie, they would be more motivated to work for it. And so I think it's just the greedy people up top that want to keep everybody else down. But if you think about it, if everybody was out here was hustling and eating and working, people are just more motivated when they have more.
That's true. I have a confession. I went to school 2 years in Castro Valley. If you're from the Bay, you know Castro Valley. It doesn't have a lot of this. And we actually had a stock class in my middle school. And we were tasked that we had newspapers. We had to highlight our stocks. We had to report on our stocks. It was a big deal. And I was like, I know they're not doing this in the inner city. So it was just really interesting to me to see that divide. And I'm knowing that these kids who I'm in class with are going to grow up and already be ahead of the game. Whereas my peers where I go to school, and normally in Berkeley and Oakland, we didn't have that luxury, so to speak. So I'm glad that I'm seeing a lot of people commenting and people are really into the stocks and people are sharing the wealth of knowledge. It's great.
I do want to say something though, because I have shared like, hey, just invest a little bit into the stock market, and people are very hesitant. They're like, I don't want to lose my money. And I'm like, you spend $50 on brunch, you spend $300 on a wig, you spend $1,000 on a section, you know, so you're giving away money every day. So why not just invest a little piece of it and you can get a return, or ROI?
Definitely.
There are so many people that I know that to this day spend $20 to $50 a week on lottery tickets between scratchers or this or that. I'm dead serious. I have family members and close friends.
System
It's a failure of our education system because they just don't know. The same way on that scratcher, you can win $1 million if you make the $20 scratch. You could put that same $20 into GameStop and you would have got that million maybe. You know what I'm saying? It's like we just don't know, and it's a lack of information. And sometimes our own people, I think this is anybody across the board, they can be scared to ask. You don't want to come off as stupid or not knowing.
To us. I think it was marketed to us in our communities. You're buying lottery tickets at usually the liquor store, the gas station, versus having, I mean, we just got Robinhood that we can trade and not have to pay fees for, or brokerage fee, right? So now we have the access, and hopefully people take advantage.
Definitely. And if you guys know of any other apps or anything, please drop it in the chat. Let us know. We're going to transition really quickly because we can't not talk about this, being that we're a politics and news show. 45's impeachment vote. It's a thing. And only 5 GOP senators voted no. Which, honestly, what did we expect, if you really want to put it out there like that? A lot of them were saying that impeachment for removal after he's out of office is basically not constitutional, which I don't know if the Constitution, you guys let me know if you've ever read anything about the impeachment policies when it comes to somebody being out of office at the time. But a lot of people are saying that, welcome to the Trump-publican, I think they're calling them Trump-publicans, because the party is basically completely divided. And these insurrectioners and all of these people that are going with Trump and believing in Trump, and a lot of these politicians are very scared to go against him because they still want that base. They're going completely against their morals, completely against what is constitutional, so to speak. And yes, I believe the man incited an insurrection. So Jasmine, what is your take on the vote?
I 100% think that these senators are covering their ass, because if they said, yes, let's go ahead with this impeachment, then they're 100% going to be on trial themselves, because they were a part of the lies as well. So that's my opinion. I think they're covering their ass. I think that it might not be constitutional, but draw some law up, because, again, you're giving Trump his win. He knows how to navigate the law, if you will, so that it benefits him. So I think it's all playing his game, and it's all corrupt.
Christian, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Jasmine hit it on the nail about corruption, right? I believe it's 67 votes that are needed, and we're only at 55. So
yeah, we need 17.
Yeah, right. And so this is going to be a battle for sure. I was reading an article about how they had received this news from one of the professors at Georgetown about if he is not actually in office now, then it doesn't really matter. And so they're trying to keep on with this language and this verbiage to really just draw it out, saying that this is going to mess up the country. This is going to be a bad impediment on our democracy, blah, 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 blah. It's just a bunch of nonsense in my eyes. I think long-term wise, we know what Trump has done, and we want to make sure that we prohibit him from doing that in the future. And so I'm praying and I'm hoping that these people will hop on board. But, you know, this is where us as activists and people that are involved politically can get involved politically even more on a national scale.
But what's interesting to me also is Ivanka Trump or Ivana Trump. No, is it Ivanka or Ivana? I get them confused.
Ivanka.
Yeah. She wants to have she wants to run against Marco Rubio, one, in the primaries, and then Trump thinks he's going to create his own party. So they still want to be involved. And even if it's not Trump who is president, his morals and his beliefs are still going to attract the base that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I want to throw our favorite commenter up on the screen real quick. Christopher says, I've never seen the Republican Party this weak. It's baffling to watch. We're watching the death of a party or the emergence of a third party. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that there's going to be a new party system? Do you think Republicans are going to divide? And do you think that this action of them not impeaching or convicting, rather, would be divisive to the entire country? A lot of questions, but pick one.
So I don't think people are really mad about the insurrection. I think people are mad because Trump was in office for 4 years. And I am too. I didn't like it, but he's gone now. He's not even tweeting anymore because he can't. And so there are a lot of fears about, you know, Trump coming back to power or raising power. And at this point, I feel like it's safe. I feel like it was toxic to say before, but I'll say it now. There is a level of culpability that the leftists have to take on their shoulders. A lot of CNN, CNBC, a lot of people promoted him. They thought he was funny. They talked about his jokes. They said they missed him, and they gave him a lot of publicity and a lot of clout. I'm saying now we have this opportunity to let this person die in oblivion and not talk about him. And people are like making him the center. I'm afraid of the same thing happening again, where people from the left and right give him so much of this like special power that he comes back. I don't think we need to impeach him, honestly. I think the criminal cases that he has in New York are enough. If they can get him on that, that's great. But I think it is a waste of taxpayer dollars to go out there and sit in the office talking about him when we have COVID, we have economic issues, we have all the initiatives that we were talking about earlier that Biden just put into play. I'm like, we should be focusing on that and let, you know, New York hates him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the attorney general there hates him. So they can handle that.
Lolita James get his ass.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Definitely. I want to throw this comment up really quickly as well from Kenneth. We don't have a two-party system. We have multiple parties. Dems and Republicans are just like Coke and Pepsi, the biggest and most known, which is extremely true because a lot of people don't think about the independent party,
the Green Party,
the Tea Party.
Tea Party.
But why is that though? Why does it seem like it's only a two-party system, right? I think it deals with a lot with money. You have to pay in order to get into these huge stages and on these different outlets and stuff. Green Party ain't rocking like that, and neither is the Independent Party. But I will say that there is probably going to be a rise, though. In where I live, it's about 33% independent, and so there are a lot of different people that are, you know, leading the Republican and Democrats. They're joining that Our Revolution and other. You know, Bernie's.
Right, I was just about to bring him up.
Yeah.
So he just raised, I think, 45 million off of selling his meme sweatshirt.
For charity. Definitely.
Right, and they gave it to charity. What a man.
We love you, Bernie.
That's because he already got millions. We all got millions.
That part.
Bernie wear the same coat he wore in the 90s.
Those are the ones that are rich. Those are the ones that are flashy and all of that. You can see Bill Gates walking around with some dang knickerbockers. Like, that's what they do. But definitely, we're going to keep our ears to the streets and on the news and making sure that we update you guys as this trend. I mean, I don't think it's going to go past this week, to be completely honest. I don't have faith that they're going to actually convict, but that's the nature of politics right now, is sometimes you never know what you're going to get. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye out on that. So we're going to get to where the money resides. How do you do the dance once? Where the money resides.
I think it's one of these, and then that,
and somebody pop out the car.
Definitely. So we have, once again, two amazing guests on today. We're going to go ahead and bring on the first one. I know this young lady very, very, very well. She's actually helped me with my business, so I wanted to make sure that I brought her on. And Gigi and Lawrence are going to ask her a few questions and just kind of get to where the money resides. So welcome, Miss Keisa.
Yay.
Hey.
Well,
go ahead, Gigi.
no, go ahead. I couldn't hear her. I think you have to unmute yourself.
That'll work. Hey,
Okay.
like I'm on my phone. I'm on the computer.
Okay. I'm good at reading.
Guys. Can you guys hear me?
How you doing today? Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm good. How are you guys?
Very good. So we're just gonna dive right in. I want you to, tell us a little bit about yourself, your businesses, how people can connect with you. I just want to hear all of it.
Okay, so basically, I am the founder of KS Consulting Inc. It's a creative marketing agency, and we represent influencers in the fashion, arts, and lifestyle and entertainment industries. And we just recently, over the last year, have kind of delved into assisting clients with funding for their businesses. Obviously, we know last year was really hard on the small businesses of the world, and we kind of just started assisting our direct clientele, and it just kind of spiraled from there. I launched my business now 12 years ago, and it's been great. My niche is more so small businesses, entrepreneurs, photographers, stylists, DJs, the independent contractors of the world. So yeah, that's basically. I've been in marketing for about 20 years, and I love it. I don't think anything else. So that's pretty much the gist. Anyone that wants to reach out, anyone needs any consultations right now, we're providing complimentary consultations for business owners, independent contractors, people that just are in need of funding. So you can contact us at www.ksconsultinginc.com, and our email and contact are on the site.
Well, Keisha, I will say this.
Wow.
You are very humble because I read your bio. And I was like, since that is just a piece of what you do. I saw that you do tax preparation and you're part of the SBA. I have a small business. I co-own a small business in Dallas, Texas, a security company.
Oh, nice.
And so the SBA kind of saved us, especially during COVID and things of that nature. And so the fact that you wear so many hats, how do you find the time to do it all? And as I said, you're being very humble because you do a lot. So how do you
I appreciate that so
manage small businesses, but also tax preparation, SBA,
so just for clarity, I don't work with the SBA. I'm not affiliated with the SBA. I just am privy to, I've been blessed to know some people that work for the SBA, some other consultants that I've been able to kind of tap in with and get information. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. If the client needs an accountant, I can refer. But yeah, I do have over 20 years of tax preparation experience. As far as, I'm sorry, I was trying to remember your other question. What was the next?
I just wanted to know how you do your time.
Oh, how do I navigate? I'm like, girl, how do I? It just kind of becomes part of your DNA. You just learn to kind of organize. My calendar is my best friend. I try to make sure to just put everything on my calendar in the moment. I'm a really big communicator. I tend to over communicate. That's my love language. So Cherie could tell you I'm very big on details, very, very anal about details. So yeah, I just kind of just put everything on my calendar. Lately, since we've kind of gotten inundated with requests, I've had to kind of hire up, which I haven't had to do in quite some time. But yeah, I've had to add staff. So they keep me pretty structured too. But yeah, really my calendar. That's like a savior. That's how I stay organized.
Okay. What's one of the projects that you're working on right now in this very moment?
Well, okay, so this is the thing. Being that now I'm in the finance realm or in the marketing realm, which
whatever you want to share.
Well, right now, basically, we're working on funding for that's just ongoing, right? So obviously, we know the programs opened up. PPP opened up about 2 weeks ago, so we've been heavily working on that with clients. Blessed with a lender, so when it comes to the funding for that specific program stream, as far as marketing, we're in a world of pivoting. I've just been basically trying to find creative ways to continue to grow the business. I am in one of the open markets. I won't say where, but you know, it's starting to kind of pick back up. So the things that we're used to in the marketing world that occur like day to day, sorry about that, that occur like week to week, month to month, year to year, has obviously, as you guys know, been completely put on hold. So now that we're in the new year, it's just about trying to find creative ways to still make those things happen. And so for me, I think I've just been challenged with how do I still appease to clients, right? Because obviously when you're in a position to provide a service, you want to do the best at providing that service. So being that my clients are creatives, they kind of just roll with, you know, we just come to the table and kind of see like what we worked on before and then how we can kind of craft it to make it still happen in this climate, but obviously safely and compliant and still like making sure that it presents properly for the brand. Because, you know, last year I was in a space where I was like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to jeopardize brand. I don't want to, you know, but now, yeah. I mean, it's people are brands and corporations are pretty much just, you know, like I said, pivoting their careers, pretty much trying to find creative ways. So it's been good. I mean, right now we're working on All Star or not. Yeah, that just kind of came in today. They're thinking about still making that happen. So if that happens, then we'll probably be just doing some private events. A lot of stuff we've been doing has been like very small.
Wow.
And you mentioned pivoting too. Go ahead, Lawrence. I'll throw it to you.
That's the word of the decade.
So with the clients that you work with, for anybody that may be interested in getting your services, what makes the ideal client for you? And kind of like, do you have to turn people down sometimes? What are some of the things that somebody can come to you with and make them a good client to get the best out of your services?
That's a good question, because I tussle with that all the time. Shariq knows. But mainly, I mean, now I'm at a point to where I have a higher expectation for the client. So it used to be, okay, let's go. You know, bring it to the table. I can take it and market it. Now it's like you have to have something that you have to bring something to the table that way that you're serious. You know what I mean? I can see that you've been proactive as well. Some of the things I look for, obviously, are eagerness. I look for like work ethic. I look for, you don't have to have a bazillion followers, but I definitely look at the platform. That's usually the first thing we do to see kind of how we can craft it and make it a little more, you know, recognizable to the consumer. And you just have to really just be eager. As long as you come to the table and you're like, look, I'm ready to do X, Y, Z. If you give 100, then you got 100 from me. So those are some of the things that I look for. I'm not really, you know, too much concerned about, you know, budgets and finances and stuff like that. Something that I with, you have to drive. Definitely.
Okay, that makes sense. You talked about budgets, and so I kind of wanted to piggyback on that and ask you, you know, sometimes people are hesitant to start a business. So can you talk a little bit about small business fundings and some misconceptions that go along with starting a business?
Some of the misconceptions that go along with starting a small business are, I don't have the credit, or I don't have a tax ID, or I'm not registered in my state, or I just don't even know where to start. You know, there's people, and I'm learning at a rapid rate. It's kind of both sides of the spectrum, right? So there's some people that have these grandiose businesses. They've had their businesses for years and they have nothing to show for it on paper because they've just been building their business and living within that business for an umpteenth amount of years or whatnot. Then there's people on the other side of the spectrum who, you know, who have businesses and they have all of these sustainable items, but they don't know what to do with them. So those are some of the misconceptions are just like, you know, I don't have the income, or I only work, you know, my income is sporadic. But that's okay. I mean, at this point, in the climate that we're in, And like I said before, I've been blessed enough to have like a really good lender. I just tell people just to try to apply. You'd be surprised that, and we help people with like the basic fundamentals. So it's like the first thing you need anytime you're trying to apply for capital is credit usually. Some of the programs you don't have to have credit. You just have to show that you have some type of income. And if you don't have income, then you need to show that how you are applying for jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So there's always some workarounds. I always just try to challenge people to just take that first step, because the worst that you can be told is no. But yeah, some of the misconceptions have definitely been like,
and I hear that all the time. It's like, I don't have the money, right? And so that leads into my next question. Should entrepreneurs be afraid of like getting loans? Can you kind of speak to that? I heard you say about the PPP loan earlier. So, I'm familiar with it, but I know a lot of people may not be. Can you kind of speak to that entrepreneurship and loans to kind of get your business started?
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to obtaining capital for your business, this is the first time ever in the history of this company that the government has said, hey, DJ, hey, photographer, hey, stylist, hey, nail tech, we're gonna create funding for you because you don't ideally, you're out of work. You know what I mean? Usually independent contractors, we don't know to pay into unemployment. We don't know to, keep paper trail on employees that we may or may not have. So basically it's just really just about just being proactive, and just you have to kind of just tap into your resources. Like I said, right now is an unprecedented time. The SBA has been around for over 40 years. I used to go to their seminars, workshops when I was 18, like fresh out of high school. So they have all of these free resources, but now this is the first time that they've ever had this much funding to be able to support small businesses, right? So there's tons of grants available as well. It's just really a matter of just like looking for the resources, and SBA is a great place to start, because outside of just the two popular programs that they have right now, there's tons of other programs that they provide, as well as free resources. In each market, they have what's called small business development centers, and you can just go and just take a workshop about marketing, take a workshop about computer skills, and it's all free. So I really try to challenge my clients to go tap into the SBDC, called Small Business Development Centers, to be able to just like get free enrichment. It's always good to stay ahead of the curve if you can.
No, I'm so glad that you said that. And then, Lawrence, I'm gonna throw it to you. I just want to make this small comment, is because there is a lot of funding for entrepreneurs now, like more than ever before. And I am so excited. Like, I even did the PPP loan for my business, and just reading about the payback, I'm like, I've never seen anything like this.
I'm sorry. And just to speak on that too, just as far as obtaining funding, again, being that this is the first ever, the terms are beautiful. I mean, some of the programs are deferred for a year, up to 30-year terms overall. And that's just like a mortgage loan, right? That's like, maybe $50 to $100 a month. And then when you get to a point where you can just pay it off, just pay it off. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely the best terms I've ever seen for any funding. And again, there is programs where you don't have to necessarily have a 1,000 credit score or 900 credit score. It's really just about the income and being able to show, or some programs, even you just have to show that you were displaced, that you just didn't have the capital coming in. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of, like I said, just being proactive and really just using the resources. I'm going to have a list for everyone, if you guys want to go ahead and post it later on, but I have a list of like grant researches and stuff like that.
Ooh, yes, I would love that.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to.
And not touch up, but the key is to tap into all of the resources early. Like as soon as it opens up, get right on it, because as we know, the funding can very well run out. It's a grant. You can apply within that deadline. Apply for it all. You know what I mean? Like, just stay on top of it, and as soon as you hear about it, get right on it, so you can be at the forefront of the funding. When it comes to the SBA funding, I mean, it has just like a stigma based on what we already kind of know, but they've really done a great job about streamlining the process going forward for the programs that they've opened up.
Well, I really want to personally thank you for spending this time with us. I think I have one last question. You really mentioned about how you've had to transition and think of new creative ways to create your business through COVID. And moving forward, for all the people watching, do you have any advice about kind of transitioning from what you used to do and to thinking of new ways and keeping that going? Because like we don't know when COVID's going to end or things are going to get back to normal, but you found a way to like keep it going and create a new normal. So do you have any advice about how to maintain that?
Pray, meditate, make sure that your mental is, your brain controls the rest of your body. That is the nucleus for everything else. If your mind is right, then you'll be able to move forward into any climate. So that's always first and foremost for me. Also, just try to use as many. See me, I'm pretty frugal. That's in life, love, career, relationship. I'm looking for all the free resources, complimentary resources I can do. And I'm really big about, I'm a villager. I consider myself to be a villager. So if I have the information, you guys have the information. So just try to stay abreast of if whether you want to learn how to be an engineer, look up and see if there's any. Right now, there's a lot of universities offering complimentary courses on everything, pretty much any major you can think of. So if there's something that you've been wanting to do that you haven't had the opportunity to do, now is the perfect time. You know what I mean? It's just about really tapping into your talents, because if not, you're doing an injustice for yourself. And just make sure to meditate. And if you're ever feeling like defeated, I mean, we all go through that as creatives. There's days where I wake up, I'm like, I have 6 calls. I don't want to take any of them. But it really empowers me to be able to empower others. It's just a matter of just trying to really just not get in that rut, because once you're in it, it can be hard to come out of it. Just try to stay on top of, like, I try to come up with like 5 things I want to accomplish like in the month, or 10 things I want to accomplish in the quarter. And once I get halfway through those things, and I don't always accomplish them all, I'm a busybody. You know what I mean? My attention span is very short. So for me, it has to be something I'm really, really passionate about and really interested in. So come up with a list of things that you know what you want to do, even if it's just in life in general, and start to just tap into those things. Because right now is a great time. Like, there's so many resources, so many complimentary resources.
Yes. Thank you, Keisa.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. This was fun.
Thank you so much. Well, we'll definitely share all the information, and anyone's watching, please, we'll put our information in the comment section. And thank you so much. Now we'll pass it to, thank you. We'll pass it to Jasmine for our next guest.
That was amazing. And I'm so excited about this show because Keisa and I share a birthday. And now I'm introducing my namesake, Jasmine Adams. Jasmine Adams is a media guru with a passion for entrepreneurship and career advancement. Jasmine is actively pursuing the integration of media and business through her organization, Career Combos, LLC, where she provides career coaching and executive produces interview series profiling dynamic entrepreneurs. In the community, Jasmine is the founder of the Franchise Owners Collective, which highlights minority and women franchise owners, as well as an instructor, guest lecturer, and consultant on salary negotiation, career strategy, diversity, equity, and inclusion with General Assembly. A native of Atlanta, Georgia, Jasmine graduated from Agnes Scott College with a bachelor's in economics and organizational psychology and obtained a master's degree in social organizational psychology from Columbia University in New York City, baby. So let's bring Jasmine.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, girl.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Well, she came with the green because that is where the money resides.
Where the money reside, where the money reside. Where the money.
Love it.
Thank you for that warm introduction. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I got to hear the tail end of the previous conversation, and y'all are dropping gems tonight. So I hope I can just help.
I love it. I love it. Christian, do you want to start off with some questions for Jasmine?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for joining us tonight. I think that we're ready for today and what society needs, especially within the Black community. Myself, I am trying to learn more about franchises, right? And learn about, do I have enough money? How much can I buy? X, Y, and Z. So I would love for you to talk about possibly like, How do people get involved? And how much do people need to actually buy a store or a restaurant or a franchise? Is it easy? Is the process hard? Can you just elaborate a little bit on that if you don't mind?
Sure. So those are all great questions. And I'll start off by just talking a little bit about franchises broadly. So, and I'll hit on 3 key points.
Okay.
So in this new day and age of business and entrepreneurship, franchising is way beyond food and retail. A lot of people, they hear franchise and they still think, oh yeah, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, but franchising is across every single industry, right? So so to answer your first question, Christian, around what are the options? How do I learn more? The first thing that you want to think about is what industry actually makes sense for you to potentially be a franchise owner. So one of the reasons why Jasmine, brought me in is because she knows that I run a meetup group for Black franchise owners in Atlanta. And so currently there are about 10 or so people in that group, and their franchises are in health and wellness, beauty, fitness, education, right? And then a little bit of the food industry. And so, when you're thinking about the lifestyle and where your passions lie, figuring out the industry is step 1. So that's the first thing that I would say. In terms of do I have enough money, right? How do I buy a franchise? Where do I even start? So even understanding some of the structure, right? The business structure. So the whole point of doing a franchise ownership instead of starting your own business is because there's already a blueprint that exists. There's a name brand that already has recognition. They've already figured out what the processes and procedures are, and they can hand that to you, and then you can lift and leverage that in order to run your own business instead of starting from scratch, right? And so the franchises charge typically a month of franchise. Example, UPS. They charge 8% each month of whatever sales you make, and that goes back to the franchise, right? And so that means that they're helping with your marketing, they're helping with, all the store operations, they're helping with, the build out of the store. So you need to understand what the franchise fee is for each franchise, and then you can better understand, what you can afford each month based on what the projected sales would be. And then, of course, most of the franchises on their website, they can tell you the startup cost. So there's some franchises that only take maybe $100,000 in order to start it up. And I say only 100.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Do you get loans for that?
Right. Wait. So if you were going to go buy a brand new home, right, and you found a brand new home for $100,000,
right,
and you decided to take out a loan and you put 20% down and finance the rest, you can do that for a franchise. So technically, if you only need $100,000 as startup costs for a franchise, or even $50,000, right, you can finance 20%. So again, if we go to this $100,000 format, you only need $20,000 to actually build it out, kick it off. You can finance the $80,000. And then, of course, you still need to have business reserves. But understanding what the buy-in cost is and what the franchise ownership monthly fee is, those are the 2 pieces that you need to understand when you're thinking about franchising. So I'll pause right there because you started out with a broad question, so we can dig into details. But hopefully that was at least helpful.
Definitely, I'm over here taking notes. So yes.
It was loaded. We love that, Jasmine. So I kind of have a follow-up question about kind of the industries, because I didn't even realize that UPS was an industry. But you specifically work with Black franchisees. So what does that look like? What are those brands or industries that they're mostly involved in?
Yep. So I can tell you. Can you guys still see my screen or see me?
No, girl, I don't even. We can see you, but.
Okay, perfect. No, I don't want to do my screen, but I'll just, for folks who are curious, who are these young Black franchise? They're all under 40. They're all Black. They are kicking butt in business. So literally my website is just careerconvos.com, literally like convos short for conversation. So careerconvos.com. And I have a whole section where I'm profiling each one of these franchise owners. So one of the businesses is called Vibe Ride, which is an indoor spin studio. So it's like a Soul Cycle or like a flywheel. And so they created this business on their own. And it was so successful in Atlanta that they became franchisors, not franchisees, franchisors, where then they were able to duplicate the business in different locations and in different markets. So Vibe Ride is one of those. The same people who started Vibe Ride are also franchisees for an infrared sauna studio called Perspire. And so if you're like, what is an infrared sauna?
Oh, I know.
I don't know.
Baby.
I have no idea.
Girl, infrared.
So let me put you on game. It's cheap too. It's only like $30-$40. Like it's really simple. So when you go to the gym, right? If you go to LA Fitness and you go and you sit in the sauna, right, after your shower, you're working out. So you can do the same at Perspire infrared sauna, except that you have your own private one. And there's different lights and stuff that help you burn calories just as you're sweating. Right. So it's a way for you to be working out your body and your muscles and burning calories as you're sitting
laying down.
So it's called Perspire. They're in LA. They're actually nationally. They're everywhere. They're in Atlanta, LA, and everywhere in between. Another one, let's see. So I have two of my franchise owners. They have a Grub Burger Bar and a Subway. So we know about the food ones. So another one though is called Soccer Shots. And so Soccer Shots is literally, it's in, let's see. I'm going to give you the exact definition, but basically it's an after school, like soccer program, but that's a franchise where you have different markets and you're able, and it's for like, 2 to 10 years old and parents pay big money, right? To be able
for
to
after school
programs. Exactly.
Speaking of it, I mean, I know it's a franchise, but they can even sell that to governments for like school systems.
Exactly.
Private schools.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, and see, you said private school. Another one of my franchise owners, it has a Primrose School, which is a charter school. So charter schools are now franchises. And so they opened up a Primrose School in Atlanta. Another franchise owner owns a Kumon, which is, like a learning center. So so there's all different types of learning centers. So she owns a Kumon. And then let's see, the last one that I'll say, is Kika Stretch, which if you guys are familiar with like motion stretch, and so it's almost like sports stretching, professional stretching, which is different from a massage because it's hitting certain points in your body to help you still, achieve the same after feeling. And it's really healthy and restorative. So again, all of the ones that I name, only 2 of those are in food. The rest, and then I actually have a couple of people who are opening up beauty bars and nail salons. So franchise ownership is not your daddy's McDonald's. Like it is gangbusters across the board.
And I think I have one last question for you, Jasmine. How do you determine what market you want to open, or how do you determine where real estate building you want for these franchises?
That's a great question. So I'll give you 2 specific examples. So because I'm actually considering, one of the franchises that was recommended to me is UPS, and it's because it's COVID proof, right? I mean, it's basically it's recession proof, it's COVID proof. Everybody always needs to ship, especially in a internet based retail society.
Small business.
It's a recognized name, but more importantly, you don't need a lot of staff in order to run your store. You maybe need 2 or 3 people. Other places you have to have a whole team. There's food service. And so UPS is could be a smart franchise. But anyway, so you asked about location. So for most franchises, they've already scoped territories in whatever states and cities that they exist in, and they'll either assign a territory to you. So for example, with Soccer Shots, there's designated territories that if you want to become a franchise owner, they say, okay, great. Well, these people already have this territory, but we want to break into this market. So, you go into this territory over here. or you can buy, with somebody's existing franchise or territory if they're ready to move out of that market. And so for UPS, they already tell you, here are where we want our stores. Here are options. Here are people who want to sell. So this is how you can get into the business. And then even for Perspire, my friends who run the infrared sauna studio, they have the Atlanta market right now, and have a specific number of stores that they will open in the Atlanta market over a certain number of years. So the franchise, for the most part, delineates, location.
Definitely. Jasmine, there's so much information that you've given us tonight, and I want to say thank you first and foremost. How can people get in contact with you?
Sure. So on Instagram, I will say tomorrow night on Clubhouse at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm literally doing a talk with one of my franchise owners, which is literally just called like the path to franchise ownership. But people can reach out to me on Instagram. Just send me a DM at either, again, Career Combos, because I like, profiling careers. Or I'm also launching a franchise owners collective Instagram, where I'm specifically highlighting everybody I've talked about and sharing the information. So franchise owners collective on Instagram, or Career Combos on Instagram.
That is amazing, Jasmine. We're going to bring in our other co-hosts, and we're going to stay here too, so we can have last words. But I think the season that we're living in, I think it's time for ownership within our community. So thank you for pushing this. Thank you for advocating for it and highlighting it. And we'll be here to support you in this process.
Hey, Keisa girl.
Yes,
absolutely.
Thank you.
I know I wasn't on the screen, but I want to say thank you just to both of our guests today. Great information. I think both of you guys brought stuff to our community that we don't normally deal with, that we don't have information about. And so I think it's so important in every industry to bring in people that can just inform us and give us the knowledge. And that's what leads to the opportunity. So I couldn't thank you enough. And I'll be in contact personally. I need some marketing. I've been looking at some franchises.
Yes.
Like some UPS, maybe a Subway. I'm down for it.
Definitely. I gotta go back and rewatch to go take some notes, because I'm like, I didn't know all about this. But yes, definitely. Thank you, ladies. Please reach out to Keisa Sullivan and Jasmine Adams if you have any questions regarding marketing and financing and all that good stuff. Because we're going, where the money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside. I'm so glad y'all do it with me.
Solidarity.
My money green today.
Definitely, yes. To
money green.
So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to Keisa and then our other guest Jasmine for some final words. Keisa.
Yeah. So basically, just stay proactive. Know there's power in your purpose, and reach out. You guys need anything? You guys keep going. The key. Keep.
Definitely. I think she froze a little bit. But definitely reach out to Keisa. You can find her on Instagram, KS Consulting Inc. on Instagram. Reach out to her. Yeah, we lost you for 2 seconds. But I got you, girl. Okay, Miss Jasmine Adams. We got 2 Jasmines today.
Yes. Me and Jasmine, we love each other with our namesakes. I would say my last words to folks are, there are so many young Black folks out here doing it with franchise ownership. Of course, entrepreneurship has exploded, but franchise ownership is still a concept that a lot of people are not haven't yet fully considered. So definitely, again, follow me on Franchise Owners Collective on Instagram. I'll be sharing information of how to research, which franchises, how to find out which industries, but then more importantly, like, who are the other young Black folks doing it? And by the way, everyone I named, they still have their full-time day job, all of them. Okay.
Wow.
So because they are trying to build wealth. So it's not, an overnight, I opened up a storefront and now I'm a millionaire. No, we putting in work, we putting in years, but what we're trying to do is be work optional in the future, right? Like how do we take back our time, our mental stability, all the things, the wealth building ways that we can generate wealth and build wealth. So again, Franchise Owners Collective on Instagram, Clubhouse tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for the franchise ownership path. And I'm just really excited to share as much as I can with everyone.
Awesome. Definitely. And I caught a little bit of your Career Combos YouTube channel. Some really powerful dynamic conversations on there. So go check her out on that as well. I'm going to go ahead and go above you to Mr. Christian. Do you have any final words for today?
Yeah, definitely. My final words is make your money. Make your money. We always talk about 7 to 10 streams of income. So I echo what Jasmine and what our guest is saying. It's time for us to step it up in regards to ownership. I always talk about it with Lawrence and stuff, but now it's actually actualization of it. And so I'm very encouraged today, and I'm trying to, make some money this year. We live in a gig economy. I'm a teacher, but there's other ways of making money. And so I encourage everyone out there to figure out your plateau, your area, and make.
Definitely. Jasmine Laverne, the other day.
So I just want to invite everyone to an event on Saturday. I'm gonna read it. So Noted and Docs Associates presents Building Your Professional Trifecta, Mentor Sponsorships and Coaches. That's on Saturday this week, January 30th at 1 p.m. The link is in my bio on Instagram. So feel free to follow me, Jasmine 2_Laverne. And yeah. Who's next?
There we go.
My final words for today is let's keep empowering each other and sharing these resources. I think now more than ever, there's been so much wealth of knowledge for wealth. And I think specifically within our community, we just got to keep empowering each other and keep sharing these resources. Don't be stingy with the money. It's enough for all of us, okay?
It's enough.
It's enough. Lawrence, go ahead.
I want to say to everyone, stay motivated. I lived most of my life super, super broke. All right. And then things changed. And I say that because when I was super, super broke, I didn't think it would ever change. And I think that when people have money, a lot of times there's this idea that it was like this easy path to get it, that your life could change overnight. So whether it comes from your intuition and going to start a business, whether it may be what you're doing in the social media realm, if it's starting a franchise, if it's starting a company, like stay motivated, stick with it. Everyone doesn't have this like perfect path to get there. So just make sure you have that energy because your life can change overnight. Things will always get better. So get to the money, but also stay focused on the money and keep trying. And secondly, ask for help. That's something I didn't realize maybe 2-3 years ago in my life. There's such a narrative, especially in our community, that people are going to steal your ideas or take from you and don't want. And the more I ask for help, the more help that I get, and the more people that actually care, and the more people that are just there for me. So keep motivated and ask for help because people will do it.
Miss Gigi.
I'm just gonna say, if you have not started your business, do not be afraid to start your business. There is as Ms. Sullivan said, there are a lot of resources out there. She has a list that is readily available for you guys. Feel free to connect with her so you can get that list. There's grants available. There is funding available. Connect with your local SBA, connect with your local urban league. Don't be afraid to utilize your media resources. As Jasmine and Adam said earlier, Clubhouse definitely drops a lot of gems. So if you haven't started a business, definitely start a business. If you already have a business, definitely get connected with that funding so your business can grow and thrive. Also know that there is multiple streams of income. So don't be afraid to step out on faith, and whether it be investing in yourself, investing in a personal development class, investing into stocks, whatever you feel motivates you, don't be afraid to step into it. This series is about generational wealth, where the money resides, and we're joking, but we really want to be where the money resides in this year. Okay. So I just want to encourage all of you. Thank you to our guests. You guys are amazing.
Thank you so much.
As well. I do want to say, protect your peace at all times. It is very, very important. Ms. Sullivan talked about meditation. Insight Timer is a great meditation app for that. And if you are not following us, please follow us on all of our platforms, as well as Yup_network. We want to hear from you. We want to definitely discuss things that interest you. And we just want to thank you guys for tuning in with us today.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.